January 31st, 1993, 90 seconds of unnatural stillness grip the Super Bowl crowd before Michael Jackson even moves. That silence triggers the biggest audience jump in halftime history. 14 years later, Prince faces an ocean of rain, playing live against chaos itself. Both moments rewrote what a halftime show could be, but not for the reasons you think. So what drove each genius to risk everything, and why do their legacies feel worlds apart? Lights cut out across the Rose Bowl, plunging more than 90,000 people into darkness. A single voice, James Earl Jones, rumbles through the silence, promising something never seen before. For a brief moment, the only thing moving is the pulse of anticipation. Michael Jackson appears to materialize on the stadium's giant screens, an illusion crafted with body doubles and precise timing. Then at center stage, the real Jackson rises from beneath the platform, surrounded by a sea of flashbulbs. But he does not move. He stands frozen, eyes fixed ahead, hands at his sides as the crowd's roar swells and then fades into an uneasy hush. Seconds tick by. 10, 20, 40 seconds. The cameras pull back, capturing the scale. 100,000 fans, millions more watching at home, all held in suspense. For nearly 2 minutes, Jackson remains absolutely still, refusing to give even the smallest gesture. The blackout stretches on as if the game itself has been suspended. Backstage, producers watch the clock, ready with backup lights in case the tension snaps. But the audience does not turn away. Instead, the silence becomes its own kind of spectacle. Jackson's stillness is not absence, it is command. Only when the first notes of Jam finally hit does he break the spell, launching into choreography as if the world had been holding its breath. In that deliberate pause, halftime is no longer background noise. It is the main event. Nielsen ratings delivered a verdict that even the NFL couldn't ignore. During Michael Jackson's halftime show, the television audience didn't drift away for snacks or channel surf as in years past. Instead, viewership surged. Final United States numbers hit nearly 99 million, a 23% jump from the previous year. Some later estimates, including global figures, pushed that total as high as 134 million. For the first time, halftime wasn't a lull. It was a draw. Advertisers took notice. The following year, commercial rates for the Super Bowl middle slot soared, and networks doubled down on booking pop icons. Jackson's impact stretched beyond television. In the week after his performance, sales of his album Dangerous spiked by more than 80%. Retailers reported a sudden rush on Jackson's catalog, with Dangerous climbing back up the Billboard charts and eventually topping 5 million sold in the United States alone. Producer Don Mischer later described the outcome as a calculated risk that paid off in hard numbers. What began as a gamble on silence and spectacle became the blueprint for appointment television. It was a halftime show so anticipated that people planned their entire evening around it. Intent is the dividing line between these two legendary halftime shows. Michael Jackson approached the Super Bowl stage as a test of mass psychology, engineering every moment to capture the largest possible audience and transform halftime into a global event. His choices, silence, stillness, spectacle, were calculated to stop viewers from turning away, to make halftime the main attraction rather than a break in the action. Every gesture, every pause, every burst of sound was designed to pull people in and hold them there. The result was a blueprint for what the Super Bowl halftime could be. Appointment television, a spectacle that outshined the game itself. But the story doesn't end with Jackson's new standard. Another artist would step onto that stage with a completely different mission. This isn't about better or worse, it's about intent. Where Jackson built suspense and scale for the broadest crowd, Prince would focus on musicianship and risk, turning the unpredictable into art. The contrast isn't about who won or lost the halftime crown. It's about what each artist set out to accomplish, and how those goals shaped everything from the music to the moment. The path from spectacle to raw performance begins with a single question. What does the artist want the world to feel when the lights come up? Rain begins to fall on Dolphin Stadium as Prince steps onto a stage shaped like his famous love symbol. The forecast had called for showers, but no one expected a downpour this heavy. For the first time in Super Bowl history, halftime would play out in sustained rain. Every surface on the field turns slick, the stage glistens under stadium lights, and the risk is immediate. water and electricity don't mix. Prince's team had prepared for the worst. Wireless guitar systems swapped out trailing chords, waterproof covers shielded amps and monitors, and every band member rehearsed for the possibility of slippage or signal loss. But the real challenge wasn't just technical, it was musical. Director Hamish Hamilton, watching from the control booth, makes a call that will define the show: let the rain become part of the performance. There would be no miming, no backing tracks to cover mistakes. Prince insists on live vocals and guitar, pushing his band to lock in tighter than ever. The center stage riser keeps the musicians close, forcing eye contact, nods, and quick adjustments as puddles form beneath their feet. Every note has to land, and every cue rides on instinct. Front-of-house engineers fight to keep the mix clean. Rain hammers down on microphones, adding a raw hiss to the sound. Instead of dialing it out, they ride the faders, letting the weather bleed into the music. Guitar solos cut through the static, thunderous drums echo off the wet stage, and the crowd's cheers mix with the storm. The rain stops being a problem and starts acting like a second instrument, deepening the reverb, stretching out the sustain, and amplifying every strum. In this moment, the chaos outside the stadium becomes part of the show inside it. Prince doesn't just survive the storm, he bends it to his will. Thunder rolls over Dolphin Stadium, but the real electricity comes from the crew scrambling beneath the stage. Minutes before Prince's set, 3 high-voltage power cables are sliced straight through during the frantic load-in. There is no time for a full repair. Lighting technician Tony Ward grabs the live wires with bare hands, strips the insulation with pliers, and holds them together for the entire show. Rain pouring down, current humming through his arms. Ward's grip keeps the lights blazing and the soundboard alive, while above him, Prince sends guitar solos into the storm. Every note depends on a circuit held together by one man's nerve and a pair of wet gloves. Up on stage, the risk is everywhere. Water pools at Prince's feet, the band tightens their formation, and the rain keeps falling, but the music never falters. Prince leans into each song, letting the weather color the sound. The crew's quick thinking and Prince's refusal to back down turn what could have been a disaster into a show that critics call the gold standard for live halftime performance. Rolling Stone ranks it number 1. Billboard and ESPN polls echo the verdict. Musicians point to the raw energy and the unfiltered sound. No safety net, no miming, just a band and a storm and a crowd that cannot look away. In the years since, Prince's halftime has become the measuring stick for musical authenticity. The rain, the risk, and the crew's split-second fix are all part of the legend. When fans and critics debate the greatest Super Bowl show, they do not just talk about spectacle or ratings. They talk about what it means to play live, to face down chaos, and to trust in the people behind the scenes. Prince's performance endures not just because of what happened on stage, but because of the invisible hands that kept the music going when everything else could have gone dark. Halftime now means cultural stakes measured in millions, with 118 million viewers watching the 2015 show alone. Every artist since faces this legacy: spectacle or musicianship, mass psychology or raw risk. The stage remains a battleground for intent. What matters most, image or authenticity? Let us know your take below.